Micah Hyde had another interception on Saturday. He just seems to have a nose for the ball more this year. Is that something new for him, or is it?
He did a pretty good job last year too. A couple of big picks, bowl game, Michigan State, and I think he had more than that, but those are two that come to mind. So he continues to play well, and he's a good football player, good leader, and brings energy to the field out there.
From the post-game interview, it seemed like Marcus Coker took the loss pretty hard. Are you having trouble trying to keep his spirits up as he kind of struggles through the first part of the season to exceed expectations?
First of all, I think all our players took the loss hard. At least I hope they did. I think they did. It was my sense. Just all I can do is judge from what I see. And I don't know that he took it any harder than anybody. I think we all, it was hard for all of us. But we're all adults and we're all, or young people at least, and it's part of the deal. You go out in the field. There are no guarantees, especially when you play a good football team. So, he'll move on just like all of us will move on. And he played fine. He did okay.
You talk about being a developmental program. What are some of the obstacles that arise in that situation?
Yeah, and first of all, most teams are developmental. Most of them, not all, but most of them. Alabama probably not. Oklahoma probably not. But most teams are, to some degree doing that, and a lot of factors play in. So it's like anything else. It's a race against time. How quickly can you move on? If you don't have a lot of experienced players, how can you get that experience and get guys to react in a good way? And when situations pop up, so it's an ongoing process and. There's as a lot of variables that take place during the course of a season. And it's that's a deal.
Is it making the margin for I don't know if error is the right word, but an injury or a transfer?
Well, really, other than probably the last, we hit a stride in 2002 after the second half of Ann Arbor. Things kind of fell in place for us, and that turned into a one of those deals where it just kind of we took off. But really outside of that, however many game stretch that would be, that's really kind of the way our seasons have gone. We've had a couple big wins and we've had a couple bad losses too, but for the most part it's in there where it's pretty close and contested, and the team that does the best with the opportunities that are in front of them usually is the team that wins. So that's the challenge that's out there, and it really hasn't changed a heck of a lot after once we got through the 2000 season. I think we won in State College in 2000, and since that time, it's kind of been, at least we've had a chance out there to be in the game. Not always, but in general terms.
Does it make it really difficult to have that 2002 to 2004 run? You guys seemed like the developing just kept going on there, and that's, you guys were.
There was nothing pretty about 2002 now. 2003 or 2004. For the record, we. Yeah, we ended up. 8th in the country both years, but I don't think anybody was putting any, whatever you just mentioned, 10th and rushing the ball. We were 116th or 115th in 2004, and we were hardly an offensive juggernaut in 2003. At times we were, but in general terms, no. So that's kind of the nature of our program. That's kind of, and most programs are like that. There are a few teams that, maybe. Have a different situation, but that's the fun in football. It's a challenge in football. How can you handle that situation? And these guys have done a great job with it. And I think that's sometimes I think there's a perception in our state that we're still playing the team from '85, one of those deals, or 2002, and they did have a down year in 2002. They were pretty good in 2000, but the record is that last year both of us came out of the game 7-3. They lost their quarterback, so it didn't turn out well for them after that. But we were pretty even last year. The year before that, they finished up 8-4, lost to Auburn by 3 points, I think, in the Outback Bowl, who went on to win the national championship the next year. You could say Auburn was developmental that year. And then, year before that, I think they were 9-3 at the end of the year and lost to Missouri in overtime by a touchdown in the bowl game. So, these guys have really played well the last 3 years. But that's the nature of college football. What can you do with what you got? And, we all got the same amount of time. So that's kind of the challenge.
A season like this, obviously, there's outside expectation. But for you lose 3 defensive linemen to the NFL. Linebacker Anger and Eads leave in 2009. You look at the new faces that are out there. Does that cause you pause? I mean, when you come in and say, what do I have here?
Well, that's every year. I mean, it's coaching. It's every year. And I think we all learned last year, expectations aren't always right. I think we learned that in 2002 as well. There's everybody tries to predict the outcome. And I understand that's the way all of us live, not just in sports, but sports especially. But that's why you play games. That's why you play seasons. And I don't remember nobody picked Auburn and Oregon last year going into it, right? I mean, that's why people go to games, I think. And that's why they pay attention and what have you. And with all due respect, but experts aren't always correct on things. That's just, how can you be? I mean, there's so many things that happen. It's interesting too. I'll go off on a tangent here, but again, I mean, just the effect the quarterback had at Auburn a year ago, pretty significant. The guy, what he did for us in 2002, pretty significant, and you see examples of that all the time, and it's that's part of college football. It's what makes it kind of interesting and fun.